Do you want to delve into the world of African mythology and learn more about the gods and what I'm saying right now? Well, there is one way, the Culture membership. It's on Patreon, and for only $5 a month, you get exclusive content, ad-free episodes, exclusive polls, fan requests, and a special newsletter, which I will be making in 2024. So, if you really want to delve into the world of African mythology, then I suggest the Culture membership. And also, as a special deal for listeners, I will give you a 7-day free trial. So a whole week of free for the membership. So, check out the Culture Show membership today. And welcome to the season finale of the Culture Show. The show where I talk about African mythology and how it relates to us today. I'm AC3, your host. I'm a total mythology geek. I love all mythology, and I've been curious about African mythology. So I decided to learn more about it, and now I will tell you why I've learned and how it relates to us today. Today is the season finale of the Culture Show. It'll be the final episode of season 1 until next year, where we dive in to an awesome season 2, which I'll tell you more about later in the show. And for the season finale, we'll be telling you a story about one of my favorite Orisha gods, Eshu. So stay tuned. On last week's episode, we talked about how inequality came into the world through Olorun. On this episode, we're going to talk about the trickster god Eshu. He's a tricky guy and was the messenger of the gods. But before, he was just a trickster god. How he became the messenger of the gods is what this story is about. So, like I said before, this is the season finale of season 1 of the Culture Show. So I want to thank all my listeners. Thank you for following me along the ride as I make these episodes. Season 2 is going to be even better. I'm going to have special guests on the show to help me out. I'm going to go release a book, and I'm also going to make a little newsletter for you guys. So season 2 is going to be crazy. So stay tuned for season 2, episode 1 of the Culture Show, coming out about next year. So let's get into the story, starting with character introductory. Character introductory. The last character introductory of season 1 before we hit season 2 of the Culture Show. So, first up, we got Eshu, the trickster god, of course, and Obatala, the god of creation. So, it's time to dive in to the story of Eshu and Obatala and how the trickster god became the messenger of the gods. Obatala and Eshu have a really complex relationship because Eshu always targeted Obatala on some of his tricks. This is one of them. Eshu decided to steal some of Obatala's yams. So, he took some of Obatala's yams. Once Obatala found out about this theft, the first person he asked was Eshu. Eshu, did you steal my yams? Eshu said, I don't think so, but I do see some prints. Now, during the theft, Eshu stole some of Obatala's slippers, put them in the ground to try and frame Obatala. So once Obatala looked at them, he said, "You must have stolen your own produce!" Angered by this, the gods punished Eshu by having him return to Earth and back to this guy every night to report what was happening down the ground. And that's how he became the messenger of the gods. The end. So, that was the final story of season 1 of the Culture Show, about how Eshu stole Obatala's yams. So, how does the story relate to us today? Well, first, be honest. Like Eshu learned today, even if you lie, people will eventually find out. So, make sure you always tell the truth and be honest. And that's how the story relates to us today. Time for today's question of the day. And since it's the holidays, I will give you a holiday question. What is your favorite Christmas movie? Well, for me, after we watched it a few weeks ago, Candy Cane Lane. It's very hilarious. It's a fun story. And it really was a fun adventure going through the movie. And it was really funny. I was laughing my eyes out. So, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Well, let me know in voice messages and emails, and maybe your answer can be featured on season 2 of the podcast. And that's the show. Thank you for listening to The Culture Show, the show where I talk about African mythology and how it relates to us today. On the next episode, we talk about a new mythology in season 2 of The Culture Show, the Homan mythology. I also want to thank the people of Hungary. 3% of people from Hungary, Europe, have listened to my podcast, and I thank you for listening to it. Also, since it's the season finale, I would like to thank my mom and dad for helping me out with the podcast, and all my aunties and uncles with their fun comments, and, it really pushed me to keep on going and make this podcast. So I hope you guys really enjoyed season 1, and I can't wait for what season 2 has to offer. But until then, see you later, and happy holidays! It's the holiday season, which means it's time to shop till you drop for other people. So if you want the latest shirts, hats, mugs, and hoodies, well, I know where to look. I have just released merchandise on TeePublic, the website that has the best t-shirts, and now I am selling my shirts, hats, mugs, tapestries, and more on TeePublic. You can get the dopest shirts, all representing African gods. So, if you need something cool and dope for your loved ones this holiday season without breaking the bank, then you need the Culture Show shirts, hats, and mugs merchandise now out on TeePublic. Check it out.